Thank you. Hi, everyone. Michelle Gramolia here. Today is Tuesday, May 4th, 2021, and I do have quite a few things I'd like to share with you today. We've got, a lot of things going on, so I'm going to jump right into it. So first and foremost, I wanted to give you an update on COVID counts on campus. And currently today, knock on wood, we have been able to discharge all of the residents now officially from the COVID positive special cohort in skilled nursing. So they all have now retested negative and everyone's symptoms have subsided. So all of those cases that had been positive are now not, and we're just absolutely thrilled about that. The existing staff members that had tested positive as a result of this, outbreak after Easter also have tested negative and all have returned to work. We do have one newer staff member that had been exposed through someone in his household a couple of weeks ago. So he's been furloughed, so he has not been working because of that exposure. And then he actually did test positive. So he hasn't been on campus, but he does still count as a positive right now. We are going to hope that he continues to do well. And I just want to publicly thank all of our staff for all of the hard work that you did during this very hard time. Having an 8-resident COVID cohort that needed staffing, around the clock. It's really staffing a whole additional unit. And of course, we did have residents with symptoms. Unfortunately, did lose a resident. It's been a very tough few weeks, but we are looking forward to, coming out of this and taking the lessons from it that we can, and looking forward to the future. So I am issuing a memo today, and I'll just read it for you quickly. And it mainly focuses on Mother's Day, actually, because now that, we've stabilized the situation with the COVID positive cases on campus, we are looking forward to this weekend and Mother's Day. So this is going to be excerpted from my memo, which is dated today. And here's what I have to say. So as we reset and look forward to the upcoming week, our focus turns to Mother's Day, which is this Sunday, May 9th. We know how very important it is for all of you to spend time with your loved ones on Mother's Day. Due to the very high number of expected visits, both on and off campus, we have modified our visiting protocols for this Saturday and Sunday across campus. And our intent is to encourage as many visits as possible, while also ensuring a level of safety. So this is specifically what has changed. Now, this is related to independent living for Saturday and Sunday of this week. Now, you will all get this memo, hard copy and via email as well. But for Saturday and Sunday of this week, we are going to be permitting unlimited independent living visits on campus without limiting by head count. So normally we have a set number of visits that can happen on at any given day based on how many rapid tests we can do. But this weekend, because it's going to be Mother's Day, we are going to allow unlimited visits on campus for independent living as follows. Now, we will not be rapid testing the independent living visitors, and this is a critical difference. We just don't have the tests and the capacity to do the rapid testing, given how many people we do expect to visit campus. So we are going to have unlimited visitors, but we will not be rapid testing. So that means we have to come up with another safety protocol, which we have done, and I'll explain that in a second. So if you wish to have an indoor visit here on campus on Mother's Day weekend, so either Saturday or Sunday, and you live in independent living, you must sign up with the concierge as usual. And you should let concierge know who will be visiting, which day they will be coming, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, and whether or not those people are vaccinated. Of course, you know how to reach concierge, and I have the number in the memo. Now, because we cannot rapid test, we just won't have the capacity this weekend, and because we do expect a lot of you to want your families to come visit or likewise to go off campus, if you do have an indoor visit here on campus this weekend and you live in independent living, we're going to ask that you stay out of the main dining room until next Saturday, the 15th. And again, this is all in the memo. And the question is why? Of course, many of you will ask that question. And the reason is because, as I said, we are wanting to open the campus to as many visitors as possible. We know we don't have the ability to rapid test this weekend. And the dining room is frankly our highest risk activity. It's unmasked, it's indoors, there's many people, often from different households. And so when we can't test, which is the case this weekend, we have to make sure that we're taking alternate measures to ensure that everybody is safe and virus-free as possible. Other than not going to the dining room for the rest of that week, next week, after your Mother's Day visit, you can certainly continue to enjoy all of your other masked group activities next week. So it's just the dining room that we will ask you to avoid if you do have one of those on-site indoor visits in independent living over the weekend. Outdoor visits for independent living, no sign up is required, and you don't have to worry about not being able to go to the dining room. So if you'd like to be able to just go about your week next week and still be able to go to the dining room, have your visit outside. That's the easiest thing to do. Visitors are not permitted to enter any part of the building or any building on campus without being screened in at concierge. If they do come in, then you will have to avoid the dining room because again, we don't have the ability to rapid test the independent living visitors this weekend. Now, if you are leaving campus for an off-site visit this weekend, or really at any time, the current protocols, which have been in place since March 17th and have remained unchanged, is that if you're leaving campus for an off-site indoor visit or meal, that you are asked to not go to the dining room again for the 5 days after that visit. So for this weekend, that would be, again, bring you to the 15th. So if you go off campus to go to your children's house or whatever the case may be, you're going to fall into this category, and we would ask that you again stay out of the dining room until Saturday the 15th. Again, the dining room is our highest risk activity. This is unmasked and very close proximity. And again, if you go off campus and you enjoy time with your family, whatever the case may be, it's just the dining room that we're going to ask you to avoid from independent living. You can continue to do all of your masked group activities during the week as long as you're vaccinated. So to recap for independent living, please notify concierge of your Mother's Day plans one way or the other, whether you're having visitors here on campus or if you're leaving campus to visit loved ones, so that we can have complete records for contract tracing purposes. And we hope you enjoy your visits. Now, for skilled nursing, assisted living, and garden view, we also have made some changes as follows. So for both Saturday and Sunday of this weekend coming up, Mother's Day weekend, we have increased our visiting capacity for the health center. So we will be able to offer additional visits in our predetermined time slots. All of the visits will continue to be outdoors, which they presently are, weather permitting. It looks like the weather should be just about like what it is today. So, on the milder side, maybe a sweater needed, but not pouring rain. So that will be fine. And of course, we've got our tent. So that's the safest thing to do, to visit outside. We will actually be offering and strongly encouraging rapid testing of all of our health center visitors. So we are going to be increasing the capacity to test our health center visitors. And really that's, of course, because our health center residents are our most vulnerable, and testing is one of the best ways to ensure their safety. So for those wanting a health center visit this weekend, we're going to, of course, continue to offer and strongly encourage the rapid tests. If you live in the health center and you plan on leaving campus for a social or family visit this weekend, we'd really like it if whoever is picking you up for that visit comes into the health center on Saturday or Sunday, or anytime really, and has a rapid test prior to taking you off campus. Again, we can't require that under state regulations, but we have the rapid test available. You are among the more vulnerable population if you do live in the health center. And if you do have somebody coming to pick you up to take you off campus this weekend or any other time, we'd really like to have them come in and have a rapid test before they take you off campus. It's a safety measure that we're able to offer. And the last thing that my memo goes on to say is that I would be remiss if I did not mention that our team does have some level of anxiety about this weekend. We've just come off of our worst outbreak since the beginning of the pandemic. This is the first outbreak that we've had where we had residents that had symptoms of COVID, and we had a resident death. So we're all, feeling the effects of that very acutely. And the reality is, however it came to be, it was a week after Easter. It was a week after we opened campus to visiting. And so I, for one, and I know my leadership team feels the same, that as much as we absolutely want you to enjoy your Mother's Day weekends, it does come with some level of, knowledge that we are going to be substantially introducing the risk of increased, virus transmission potentially on campus. So what I would ask of all of you is, no matter what you do decide to do, please keep us informed as to your plans, and please try to do everything in as safe a manner as possible. Spending time with vaccinated people is a great way. Spending time outside with people is a great way. It's the indoor unmasked activity that's the highest risk. And certainly anybody that's not vaccinated that's present is going to introduce a greater risk to you. So just please keep in mind that, we're clearly, after what has just happened after Easter, we're not out of the woods. We are able to start resuming things. And I know that I plan to myself, but always with thinking of the safest way to do it in mind. So we do ask that of you. Just a couple of things in general. We have found that a lot of residents have stopped contact tracing, and it's becoming an issue. So we've had a couple of close calls in the last few weeks where a resident has struck ill and had some symptoms of COVID, ultimately tested negative. But in that period of time where we're trying to figure out what's going on, this is more independent living. We've asked the resident, can you give us a list of who you ate with, or who you, played cards with, or who you spent time with? And people are not able to do that. So there is absolutely still a critical need for you to be contact tracing. So writing down who you spend time with every day, because if we do have the circumstance where someone does test positive, which very well could happen, we're going to need your help as quickly as possible in identifying who you've spent time with in the last 2 weeks. So this is a great time for you to remind yourself to write on your calendar who you spent time with, or keep a notepad or something, so that when we call you and need that contact tracing information, you can give it to us pretty quickly. We have a few exciting announcements that are going to be coming out in the Chanticleer in the next week or so, so you should keep an eye on that. We're looking at actually adding a whole bunch of new types of excursions, outdoor type activities, as trips, since a lot of the cultural stuff is not open yet. We've identified some really cool things in our local area that we think that a lot of you are going to be excited about. So if you haven't heard of pickleball, you should look that up. If you haven't heard of disc golf, you should look that up. And of course, bowling, and a bunch of other things. So we're going to be looking to add a bunch of those kinds of activities onto the schedule. So keep an eye out for that. We have a limited number of Girl Scout cookie boxes that were extra from the sale. There's a couple of gluten-free types and some lemon cookies there. If you're interested, Concierge has them. They're $4 a box, and we can charge that onto your monthly service fee. And the last thing I want to go over, and again, this will be a memo that you get as well. This is related to the phone system. So you are going to have a frequently asked questions document dated today as well, related to the Switch for Spectrum phone service that we've been talking about. And again, this is for those people that get their phone service through Woodland Pond, and live in either assisted living, garden view, or independent living. So this is where you see a phone charge on your Woodland Pond bill. That phone service will be going away around the 1st of July. You're going to have to switch your phone service. So a lot of you have started, and that's great. And as that process has started, that transfer process has started, we have identified that there are some frequently asked questions. So Cassidy and Jason put together a frequently asked questions document. So I'm just going to kind of go through this quickly. But again, you will have this in your mail copy. So the first question is, how do I know if I already have Spectrum phone service? In other words, that this doesn't apply. And this can be determined 2 ways. If your phone number starts with our area code 845, and then it starts with 256, and then has 4 digits, you have most likely Woodland Pond phone service through us. And that's what's going to be going away. So if your number is 845-256 something, this applies to you most likely. Or alternatively, you can tell by looking to see if your phone itself is plugged directly into the wall. So you've got a phone with a cord and it goes directly into the wall, then that would tell you also that you have Woodland Pond phone service and that is going away. If there's a phone and then another piece of equipment, which would be a modem or a router, and then that goes into the wall, then this does not apply to you. But if you have a phone that the cord goes directly into the wall, this is the phone service cord, then this will apply to you. We will be putting a notice to all affected residents in your mail cubbies this week so that you know for sure. The next question is what number do I call for Spectrum to make the switch? And the phone number is listed here in the frequently asked questions document. The next question is how can I keep my existing phone number? And I think this is really the best news about this whole thing, which is that you actually can keep your existing phone number. So this is really fantastic. And so what you're going to do if you want to keep your existing phone number is to, when you call Spectrum at the number that's listed here, you're going to tell them that you want to speak to Spectrum Voice Service, or that you want to obtain Spectrum Voice Service and that you want to keep your phone number. So basically when you call Spectrum, you're going to let them know, I plan to keep my phone number. It's very important. You need to tell them that. You need to make sure that they understand that and that they confirm that for you. It will take somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks for Spectrum to make that switch for you. So this is why deadline is very critical and folks need to work on this sooner than later. They may ask you what service you currently have, so you can let them know that you have phone service through Woodland Pond. How do I know which equipment I will need? And so this is if you have this, then this happens. But if you currently have internet service, so internet, Wi-Fi service, et cetera, through Spectrum, then you don't need any new equipment. So if you have internet service through Spectrum, you don't need any other equipment. You have the equipment that you need. If you do not have internet service currently, you will need additional equipment, and Woodland Pond and Spectrum will help you with that. The next question is, does a Spectrum technician need to come and install my new phone service? And the answer is no. You can avoid a Spectrum tech call. We will help you with that. Jason and Cassidy and some others are going to be instrumental in helping those of you that need this to be switched to be done. We've started a few of them already, and it's starting to go through and be in the works. The next question, can my existing hookups for my phone be moved to a different location? And the answer is in most cases, no. The Spectrum phone service that we're swapping to runs off of your coax cable hookup, which is the little round thing that comes out of the wall where you usually plug the cable in for your TV or your internet modem or whatever you have. Normally those are in one or more fixed locations in your home, your bedroom, your main area, your living room. So those really can't be moved because they're predetermined in each location. You may find it necessary to purchase a different type of phone or phone system so that you can accommodate that, maybe a base with multiple extensions, but we can help you with all of that too. We're going to try to make this as simple as possible, and we will help you through every step of the way. And this is the most important question on the document. What is the deadline for me to call Spectrum? And the answer is if you live in independent living, we really need you to call Spectrum and initiate this switch by May 14th, which is a Friday. It's about a week and a half from now. So once you get this document, I would recommend just start the process right away. Give the call to the number that's on here, let them know what you need to do. And get that process going, because it can take a few weeks. You might encounter some frustration because Spectrum can be very frustrating. We do want to help you with everything. So calling sooner than later is going to be the ticket to success on this, because it can take a couple of weeks once this process starts. So I know this has been a lot. I will be in the office all day today if anybody would like to talk to me about anything. I hope that you all kind of figure out your game plan for Mother's Day. You let concierge know what you're doing if you live in independent living. Let reception know what you're doing if you live in the health center. And I will see you all soon. Thank you.